Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sophia. As I was writing this TED Talk, in my head, I kind of had a vision of how things would unfold on the official TED Talk day. I would strut up to the stage, the virtual stage, take my little microphone into my hands, and say something along the lines of, "Hi, my name is Sophia Fu. I go to Carmel High School. Today, I'm going to be talking about math." And maybe a little kid sitting in the back of the room would roll their eyes. Hopefully not most people though, since listeners of Carmel TEDx are very polite, right? As you may have guessed by now, today I will be talking about math. But I promise I will try my best to keep things interesting. I won't be pulling out the typical math is important because you can use it to calculate your taxes response that math teachers almost instinctively respond with whenever someone asks, "Mr. Smith, when will we ever use this in real life?" Come on everyone, let's be honest. Math is kind of everywhere. Instead, I'll be talking about math and the influence it has had on my life in the form of chapters, meant to represent various periods of personal development in my life, and more specifically, how math has been used within Indianapolis Integrals, an organization that I helped direct and a cause that I hold very dear to my heart. This might sound a little bit confusing, but I promise it'll make sense. I had to integrate the theme of books somehow, but this whole idea is very intuitive as well. Us mathematicians really enjoy organized systems of explaining things. Now, let's begin. For me, an anxious parent trying to teach their crying daughter how to do long division for the 50th time at 10 o'clock is both a handful of words to say, or a mouthful of words to say, and nightmare fuel. Unfortunately, that was where I was a few years ago. Towards the start of 4th grade, I began to realize that things weren't clicking, or as some may say, the math wasn't mathing. I wasn't struggling with complex math problems or funky proofs. I was actually struggling with basic lattice arithmetic. And for my parents, who were both statisticians, this fate that their daughter had found was both terribly embarrassing and very problematic. Towards the end of elementary school, my dad began tutoring me in math. I didn't ever really have a plan of advancing in my studies. I didn't really have an intention of becoming a competitive athlete. And never in a million years did I imagine myself standing in front of an audience, talking about how much I love math. My only plan was not to fall behind. Math didn't come naturally for me. I didn't see patterns or approach logic in the same way as my peers. In fact, math was something that I always kind of struggled with quite a lot. It was only after several months of learning math that I began to finally pick up on concepts and actually enjoy the process of solving problems. I wasn't caught up on expanding a plus b squared anymore. Instead, I was now able to play around with Vieta's theorems and admire the simplicity of seemingly complex but very simple factorizations. I was not a math whiz, but my newfound appreciation for mathematics motivated me to join my school's math challenge team and begin competitively doing math. Competition math gave me an outlet to express my creativity through problem solving, and it also gave me the opportunity to make friends, something that didn't always come easy to me. Later in my life, starting Indianapolis Integrals was another instance where taking an initiative and creating my own opportunities would go on to serve me well. Through Integrals, I was able to grow as a person, befriend others, chase after something I really did feel passionate about, but above all, it gave me an outlet to touch the hearts of others and to see impact through my very own actions. Looking back, creating opportunity has always led to great results. Whether it was in initially starting math, deciding to pursue math from a competitive angle, or in starting Indianapolis Integrals, I've come to realize that taking initiative has always made a very big difference. Creating my own opportunities has allowed me to experience new things and has really changed my life. So, to conclude the first chapter, when uncertainty, fear, or simply life is holding you back, remember to take initiative. Remember to create opportunities that don't exist for yourself and for others, and do so with the intent of making a difference. I promise you will not regret the outcome. The second lesson I learned is about accepting failure and learning to move on. A few weeks into starting Integrals, the first problem arose: raising money. We had ambitious plans, big goals, and kind of an overly ambitious vision too. We wanted not to reach as many people as we could in Carmel, Indianapolis, or even the United States. We wanted to have a global reach and to connect with people from around the world. We had a vision, and we needed support, and thus began the art of raising money. It wasn't easy. We didn't have the statistics or experience to back up our goals and plans. We wanted to raise thousands of dollars. We had no credentials. The only thing we had was a clean slate and a team of individuals who were willing to put in a lot of work, and the latter made all the difference. At Indianapolis Integrals, our natural fear of rejection was something we all had to overcome. After sending over 200 emails, followed by hundreds of rejection letters, we finally got our first yes. Someone saw value in our vision, and from that we were able to raise our first few $1,000s. We were scrappy, hand-typing emails and doing research for hours on end about potential sponsors who supported similar visions to the ones that we had. We made mistakes, had miscommunications, and faced our fair share of struggles. However, we had the perseverance to continue, the courage to accept failure and rejection, and most importantly, strength to move forward. There are many similarities between each and every one of you in the audience today, and with the scrappy integral that we kind of all resemble in a way as well. And as any person probably knows, life is like a constant stream of asteroid fire. Occasionally, an aggressive, burning, fiery red rock will come and throw you off life's path. However, it's important to keep going, to accept the inevitable defeats the universe is bound to give you, and to keep the bravery and determination to persevere, to continue going, and to be magnificent. And the last story is about shaping your identity. What do you want to be when you grow up? It's a question you're asked a strange amount when you're little. What are you supposed to say when you're 8 years old and a teacher asks you what you want to be in 15 years? That's a really intimidating question, and it's something I still don't really know the answer to. But when I was little, I had the belief that you had to be one thing, that you were destined to be someone or to do that something. I believed that everyone was born to pursue a special passion. And if you didn't have special skills, then that special subject just wasn't for you. I didn't ever want to be a computer scientist, engineer, mathematician, or data scientist because math was not really my strong suit. Instead, at the ripe old age of 9, I decided that I wanted to run a hot dog stand because I had an interest in consuming junk food and putting ketchup on just about every place where it didn't belong. STEM and math in particular was something that I always distanced myself from. I didn't feel an attraction to the subject, and thus I didn't believe that we were the perfect pair. Math class was something that I didn't really look forward to, and simply the thought of filling in math worksheets or doing rocket math was something that made me feel both numb and empty inside. In truth, it wasn't until much later on in life when I began studying math with the intent of catching up to other students and not with the goal of advancing to become a prodigy that I developed a passion for problem solving. Studying math helped me realize that interests are a result of our surroundings, something we all hold the power to shape and change. You don't have to be born with the natural ability to see patterns or to think like a mathematician, whatever that means, to be loving math like a well-versed math lover. This lesson is something I relearned in the process when I decided to found Indianapolis Integrals. A few years ago, when I first had the opportunity to become the founder of Indianapolis Integrals, I was very scared. Never in my life had I considered myself to be a very strong leader. The fear of having not only to worry about my own problems, but also the problems of others was something that kind of scared me. Truth be told, I never had an experience like this. I thought of myself as a follower. I didn't think that I had the ability to persuade and encourage others. I didn't want to give speeches and ask people for money because that seemed trapping to me. It was not until several months into the process of starting Indianapolis Integrals when things slowly began falling into place. Only after several meetings, talks, and rounds of fundraising that I realized that things were meant to be, and that everything was gonna be just all right. In fact, things were all more than all right by that point. We'd managed to surpass our initial fundraising goals by several thousands of dollars, and we managed to build a pretty stable community. At that point, Integrals had become one of my biggest passion projects. Something that previously didn't stand a chance of existing had now begun to flourish. I want to tell you this because had there not been my belief and the belief of others that passion can blossom from anything, then maybe I wouldn't be standing here today talking about integrals, math, and the impact these two things have brought on my life. You see, in life, we are constantly subjected to the thoughts and criticisms of others, the restrictions imposed upon us by society, and the limitations that bound us from reaching our full potential. It's up to us to fill these holes, to define ourselves as leaders and mentors, not just for ourselves, but for our community. It's our goal, job, and responsibility to be the change we wish to see. We need to have the confidence to be the foundation for others, so that we can build something big, strong, and beautiful. And there is not really a better time to start that than right now. So I invite each and every one of you to answer these questions. Who do you think you are? What do you want to be? What do you want to change? And how can you do that now? Thank you.